Hello and welcome everybody to a new episode, and today we have a brand new patch in Overwatch 2, and I gotta say, I had a lot of fun with this. I'm a bit biased, obviously, but anyways, Clad, how are you doing? And how was the patch?
I'm doing pretty good and doing a little bit better after hearing the news of the patch and playing it a little bit, honestly.
Oh man, the communication's great here. Like this is more content than we've gotten in the past few weeks than we have in the past 900 days. Like this is insane. I was not expecting the patch to be like this. I don't remember who or when there was news a patch coming Thursday. I remember people were saying that, but I wasn't like thinking it was going to be something like this. I thought it
Yeah,
was going to
that
just
was gonna be
be
like a hot fix, like just the
like
bugs
this.
there.
I thought it was just
Yeah,
going to be this. I wasn't expecting actual changes. Just this kind of shit, right? A,
yeah,
a very pleasant surprise. If Overwatch had updates like this as frequently as like when did the beta come out? It felt like it was only like a week ago. Like it just every couple of weeks drop a patch like this. I mean, this game would just be golden. It'd be perfect in my book. I love it. So well, with that being said, let's go ahead and get some of the boring, general stuff out of the way. They added open queue to the game, which is nice. I don't think either of us have played it. We just played
no.
regular roll queue, so that's cool. I'm sure there's a lot of silly fun that you could have with that. But we've only been playing the regular game mode. We wish that ranked was a thing, obviously. Um, this is the only
Truest.
other good thing, really. They fixed a little bit to the UI and the kill feed, which is something I was kind of getting frustrated with at the beginning.
Yeah, it was very annoying.
In the kill feed, you could not tell if you got killed by a headshot or a regular shot, and that was a little annoying. It ultimately doesn't do too much for the gameplay, but it is very annoying if you're playing against characters like Widowmaker or something, for example. I don't know. It's good to know if those are headshots or not. That's like kind of useful information. And you literally couldn't tell the little white arrow, like to my eyes, I couldn't even tell like the difference, right? Like in the middle of a
Yeah, you
match,
really had to like actually look at it, which you
yeah,
don't want that to be. You want to maybe like
you have to
glance at it for like
examine
a
it.
split second, and you
Hmm.
should instantly know the information that was presented to you.
Yeah, and it's in the
You
middle
shouldn't
of a
have to
game,
sit
like
there and look at it. Yeah.
yeah, you shouldn't need to put it under a microscope if you're playing a game. You just want to know, oh, that's a headshot in the kill feed. Oh, they have a widow. Like to me, that's something that like pops out of my head. You see the white arrow and you see the red arrow, and it's easy to tell. And that's kind of good information to have, especially if you're playing like support like Zenyatta, which we'll get to. And you're like, oh, there's a headshot in the kill feed. Oh, it's a widow. Somebody swapped the widow. Now I know. Like it's kind of useful information. So they fixed that. You have like a special little symbol for it. Other than that, that's pretty much all we got on this, right? That's it for this kind of stuff. I mean,
Yeah, a bunch of obvious bug fixes. It's a beta.
yeah, like
You
this
know,
one, wrecking ball
this
crashing the
was all
game.
to be expected.
Yeah, this is stuff that I was expecting the patch to be. And then here we got the juicy stuff right here, which we'll get to. This was a fun one. Sojourn. They made her right click, her alt fire with the railgun, they made it easier to hit, which is something I think everybody kind of was complaining about, right?
Hmm.
And then this was really surprising. They actually made her slide better, making it so you can use it a second earlier. I thought her slide was already perfect at 7 seconds. I thought it was fine.
I thought maybe the height could have been increased just a tiny bit, but not the
Hmm.
cooldown.
They did find like a tech with it where you can jump a little bit higher. It has something to do with like pressing or holding down the jump button and before you go into your shift and jump cancel, and it actually gives you enough height to where you can land on places you normally couldn't if you did it regularly. I'm not
Okay,
sure if
well,
that's how they
it
intended for it to be.
doesn't seem to be taken out, so
Yeah,
maybe they're leaving it in.
it's one of those things. I haven't played too much of Sojourn. I played her, as much as anybody's played a new character. At
Hmm.
this point, I think I've really been like, she still feels a little weak. She felt a little underwhelming, especially compared to other characters down here,
Yeah,
which of course, we'll get to. But this was a good change. It doesn't seem like a
yeah,
lot, but it definitely makes it a lot easier. I played her just a tiny bit. It's definitely much better. You have more
it's
mobility.
definitely noticeable
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
You have extra mobility on top of that. I mean, Sojourn is one of those heroes that I think we could all agree very high skill ceiling, right? So
Hmm.
this is just going to make her better. And as people play the game more and play her more, then you'll see the skill ceiling, and we'll see Sojourn's probably a really good character. People are still just figuring out the user. Me personally, I think her E is actually extremely annoying. That's like the most
Oh,
annoying thing on
it's
her
so
kit.
powerful.
It's strangely strong, like weird that it's that strong almost. Um,
Very, very strong combo potential.
yeah, her E is extremely strong. Just it's weird, right? Because you think it should be her right click that's overpowered, but for me, her E feels just overtuned. Hell, I would trade the damage and slow off that E for other things. It feels weird to me. Um, but yeah, no, Sojourn's great. This is an amazing change for her. Moving on to something even juicier, because I think we are about to say this, man. Soldier nerf. Thank God. This hero was dominating, dude. Way too good. Um, I don't know if you've played much of Soldier, but like, holy moly, the amount of damage he's been able to do on 5v5 is unreal. One less tank, one less shield, one less guy in the way of Soldier. So what Soldier have to worry about? Not a whole lot. He does way more damage in the 5v5 format. So they nerfed his damage by 2 with each bullet off his rifle, which is crazy. And then they reduced his movement speed on sprint, which, to be honest, that was very needed. It was very
Yeah,
necessary because you had the
with already
DPS
the
speed.
flat DPS boost.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
roll passive was too much on him. And then of course they did this thing where his visor. I don't know what the point of this part. This part just felt like pity,
just
right?
increasing skill ceiling just a little bit. I mean,
It's just silly to me.
it's like why I don't know why even pop your attack visor
Yeah, if
in the
you're gonna
first place
land the
then
crits,
if you're
that's
just gonna want
great.
to hit your headshots.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. It's like you're already aimbotting. I guess you could try to land the
It's not the
crits, but
worst thing in the world, but I feel
nah,
like
it's not. But
just doing those nerfs
mm,
alone, he would still be a very good character and doesn't need it at all.
yeah. Oh, they also did the thing too. It no longer removes damage fall. So now you have damage fall off on your visor. So now your visor has to be kind of close, which makes it a lot weaker too. That's a big thing. Yeah,
You know,
Soldier got.
I guess since they're doing both, maybe it's fine to have that, but we'll just have to see.
We wanted to make Soldier more fun to play. This didn't make him more fun to play. I'll be honest with you. This nerfed the
Yeah,
shit out of him. But it's a needed nerf. It is a needed nerf.
yeah, the speed and damage 100% was needed.
Yeah, the visor change feels a little pointless to me. The damage fall off though, I definitely understand. But yeah, Soldier's visor was way too strong because there's so many less things. I mean, I can't tell you how many times when there'd be a main tank in Overwatch 1 and he would have a shield, and then always there would be a diva who would just run at me if I was playing Soldier, and then my visor would be completely pointless. And that like never happens, right? Nobody's playing diva. I played like 2 games now. One of them was today, where there was a diva on the enemy team, and she didn't do anything. I don't know. Diva feels really weak to me right now,
Yeah,
but
she lives, but she just doesn't
she
do
doesn't create
anything.
space. She doesn't create
Yeah,
space.
she just
Definitely nothing.
exists.
I feel like in the hands of a good player that could be different, but definitely just like you have nothing to worry about as hit scan. Like hit scan are dominating right now. Widowmaker is dominating right now, and a lot of that is because of the new maps. The new maps are crazy big. Like there's a lot of space on these big maps for you to do like work with Widow. So yeah, I'm really happy to see Soldier get nerfed. Sojourn getting buffed, very needed. Definitely balances the scales a little bit, but I still feel like Sojourn's still lacking. I feel like if you were to put these two characters against each other, I think Soldier would still come out on top. I just think
Definitely.
Soldier's a little bit better. And partly that's because you have the consistency. Even though the ult is weaker, it's still a consistent, easy kill, like every time, right? You use your ultimate right, that's a pick. And to pick in 5v5, that's game changing, right?
Yeah, they're talking about they wanted to make Soldier more fun to play while rewarding mechanical skill, but honestly, the amount of mechanical skill required for Sojourn requires like a lot more than what Soldier does.
That's true. Especially if you're like sliding around trying to hit shots when you're like mid-air or mid-slide, it makes it a lot more
Hmm.
challenging. But I always keep trying to do it because it's more fun. I feel like I'm a fucking action movie star like Keanu Reeves each time I try to do it.
Hmm.
But that's kind of where the E comes in. You have to have your E to make those shots hit a little bit easier. And that's a big difference too between the ults, right? This is auto aim, consistently auto aim, get a kill, or alt where you just have to really still aim a lot. So I feel like that's where
Hmm.
this kind of comes in. It helps your ultimate a lot too, right? This helps your ult because you're able to get your ult fire a little bit more consistently, which is one of those things where ult was good, but the big problem I'm having, at least with quick play games, is Mercy Valkyrie is just unstoppable. It's like why even bother shooting at a Mercy Valkyrie? It's like really pointless if you're playing one of these characters. But if I'm ever playing Soldier, I always use my visor on it. Like that's my go-to solution.
Yeah,
So that's
any
like
flying character, easy.
yeah, that's where Soldier just comes out on top still over Sojourn. Is like, yeah, you can use your
Even
ult in
with
Sojourn, but like,
the fall off, you know.
oh, it's still worth. Yeah, she's stuck in the middle of the air. She can't get away. Then it's still worth. Um, what are you gonna do? Hide behind double shields? I don't think
Yeah,
so. So yeah, I think Soldier is still really good though. I think Sojourn is a lot of fun, but I don't think she's at the same level of power as Soldier still. I think Soldier is still way better.
definitely.
And if you did want to one-shot people with railgun right clicks, I still feel like you could just go Widowmaker. Like if you really just want to try to get rewarded for that kind of like really strong one-shot ability, you can probably just play Widowmaker and it's more effective than Sojourn. Like Sojourn's
Mhm.
consistent DPS output is way lower than Soldier's, and the right click is just it's powerful, but at that point it's like why not play Ashe or Widowmaker where you still have that long range powerful headshot that can burst people. So
Even
Sojourn
Hanzo.
Hanzo is another fantastic example. Sojourn just feels a little weak to me still. But again, maybe that's where the E comes from, and maybe the E is really strong on purpose because that's trying to get that little extra damage and slow in that actually changes because there's so little CC in the game that maybe that E is worth having just because it's a little bit of a slow. I don't know.
Yeah,
Hopefully there's some more
I
changes,
definitely
but
kind of feel like that with Roadhog a little bit with the hook
ooh, we'll
being
get the
like one of the
Roadhog.
few CCs.
We'll get the Roadhog in a second,
We'll get him.
sir.
But
Hold on.
speaking of
Yeah.
DPS, who have a whole lot of speed that don't need it.
Yes. Am I scrolling down here? A little too much, Sombra. So yeah, Sombra was. I think most people have found Sombra to be very strong. Not as oppressive as old Sombra, but yet her damage makes her an excellent flanker. Um,
Hmm.
very like her utility is still there. Her damage is just even higher. Nerfing her speed, I completely get that. I get it. It wasn't even a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. I played it. It's not even that noticeable. You're still moving so fast, and
I've
you're still
actually played
getting
no
to your
Sombra.
positions that you need to be in. Like it's
Mm,
really nothing.
yeah,
Perfectly fine.
I played like little to next to no
She
Sombra.
could still use some tuning down,
You
just
think
a
she's
little
still
bit.
strong? She
Yeah,
seems
I think
strong.
I think the hack lasts too long. I like the 1 second like interrupt,
Hmm.
but lasting like the damage increase lasting for 8 seconds total, like that is a lot.
My proposed solution to that, I don't know if you would like it, but I would just make the actual cast the hacked a little bit longer, like maybe another point something seconds on there, like the right click,
It's
take it a little bit longer before the hack latches onto him or whatever.
maybe
Do you think her
like a little
damage is in a
harder
good
to actually
spot?
get the
Maybe
hack off.
what would you want to nerf or change about her?
I I would have just reduced how long hack actually lasts on somebody from 8 seconds down to like I don't know. You could even just do 6.
Even though it's like two different components to hack, you think the full duration of it should be gone, the
Yeah,
second part.
the 1 second, yeah, the 1 second like CCs
Hmm.
I think is just fine.
Okay.
But like the actual damage, it just does so much. Like I feel like Sombra should be more focused on attacking squishies rather than I can literally just with really good tracking and a good hack, I can shut down a tank completely.
I get you. I do think some tanks are in a better spot, hopefully, after this patch. I haven't had a chance to play all of them. They've gotten a few different I guess you would call them more like quality of life changes more than anything. I do think that some of these characters, I'm actually surprised some of them didn't get touched. For me, I think characters like Diva needed a little bit of help, but it's hard to tell because I do think maybe Erisa is just so dominant that she hard counters characters like Diva, right? But we'll
Hmm.
get into that. I do think Sombra is still in a very strong state right now. And I think that the tank selection of people playing like Orisa and stuff is also what makes her good, and Doomfist especially. Doomfist gets really fucked on
Yeah.
by Sombra, so much so I don't see many people playing Doomfist at all anymore. Like everybody's playing Orisa still, and everybody's playing Orisa. I think is one of the reasons why Doomfist isn't being played. So I'm kind of surprised they didn't do anything to Doomfist here either. I thought maybe they would do something with them, but maybe they think that it's completely fine. I'm not sure. How do you feel about Doomfist so far?
I feel like Doomfist might be relatively balanced. It's tough to say.
Hmm.
Arissa definitely seems like she might be the best tank, like
That's how I
hands
feel.
down.
Yeah.
And I really would want the rest of the tanks to kind of be brought up to her level rather than
Mm.
her being brought down because I really like her pace of play.
Oh yeah,
But
her pace. Yeah, her speed, right? Like it's a good pace.
yeah, it feels really good to play her, like
That's a good way
especially
to
on
put
like
it.
push maps.
Like
But
Doomfist
like,
feels fast, but he feels a little weak and easy to kind of stop. And Orisa does a good job of
yeah,
that.
yeah, Doom seems more like you play him against like Reinhardt and Diva.
Yeah, you just don't see
He
many
feels like he
divas.
has a place. It's just not in a really good place.
Mm. I wonder if that'll be changing anytime in the future. I do notice that whenever I have an Anna as my healer, I have a very tough time staying alive as Doomfist because I feel like you're all over the place. Like his mobility is so good still that Anna
Mhm.
has a really tough time keeping up with those heals. And obviously you have characters like Brig that also just isn't going to keep up with you. So I think that maybe the support lineup could come into play when you're playing Doomfist. One of the reasons why you might feel like you're dying so quickly is because the supports can't keep up with the LOS that you might be struggling with them on there. So while on the subject of tanks, let's go ahead and move down to the tanks here. First up, your favorite character, Roadhog, and man, what a crazy change this was. You weren't expecting this, I bet.
I was not expecting that at all. I wasn't expecting them to do really
Anything?
anything with Roadhog.
Yeah. Why don't you explain to them what happened here? Because I haven't touched it. I haven't even tried playing Roadhog yet.
All right, so originally Roadhog's ultimate was a channeled ability
Hmm.
where it just you activate it and it's just going. Now they changed it so it's, as they say, a transform ability where you just activate it and it's just kind of like a buff. You change your weapon basically, and you just choose to fire, kind of like Soldier. It works pretty similarly to Soldier's ult, but it just kind of has a little bit different functionality to it, where you still maintain the knockback.
Hmm.
But on top of that, like, you can use your abilities just like you can use heal in the middle of your visor. You can also heal as Roadhog in the middle of your ult.
That's huge. I think that's a big change. That alone could be great because I think sometimes I go, oh shit, right? I really just need to heal right now, but I can't stop. Can't stop
Yeah,
firing.
I definitely find myself a lot of times with old Roadhog. When I'm using my ultimate, I will have to turn away because there's a Sigma trying to eat. There's a Zarya trying to eat with her
Yeah.
bubbles.
Genji
There's a Genji
deflect.
trying to deflect. Yeah,
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 that was the first thing that came to my mind was like Genji deflect. Because how many
yeah.
times is that? I mean, every Genji gets cocky and tries to do that shit in your face. So that's
Yeah,
a
being able to
big
just to sit
change.
there and stop shooting, and then if I'm like low, I can be like a heal,
Hmm.
and then I can resume back to fighting, and I can still have a little bit of the knockback. That's good. I mean, always was talking about, oh, why can't I just cancel my ultimate?
Yeah, and now
This
you
is way
can.
better. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is way better.
This is actually better. It kind of is amazing. One thing that also I don't know if you've had this interaction yet. It says stuns will no longer cancel the ultimate. What happens if you get hacked? Do you know?
So it does not break out of your ultimate. You still have your primary fire be you
Okay.
transformed your gun into the scrap gun that he
Okay.
uses to pop his
So you just
ultimate.
can't use hook or heal during
Yeah,
it.
for that 1 second, you just wouldn't be able to use your other
Ah.
abilities, but your gun is still transformed. Just like when you get hacked
Okay.
with, well, you have visor, you can't run and pop heal, but you still have the auto aim going.
I got you. This is a really cool change. I haven't played tank at all today. And there's a reason why I haven't, by the way. There's a very good reason why I haven't, and I will discuss that soon. But I do think that Roadhog's change was unbelievably good and healthy for the game. It's not some sort of like tacked on different thing. It feels natural almost. Like it should have been there from the
Definitely.
beginning. It should have been there from a while. I think we've had many discussions in the past about Roadhog and how his ultimate feels weird. I think now it probably feels good,
Yeah, I
right?
mean, it actually feels like an ability.
Yeah,
I
and I
mean,
I think Roadhog
you've
does well
definitely
against
heard me
Orisa.
talking about it, where I was just like, I'm not attached to almost any of his kit except the hook,
Yeah,
because it's just E is just it feels so old, and his ult
yeah,
just feels they're so one dimensional. Whereas like there's all these other characters that have all these different aspects to their abilities. That's why that's why I'm saying Arisa feels good with her pace. Like the other characters need to be brought up. This is a good step for Roadhog. I
that's
mean,
true.
there's still a lot of work that needs to be done on that character, but this is definitely a really good step
So
in that direction.
one thing I think is interesting about the Roadhog versus Orisa matchup is the whole hog interaction against her when she uses Fortify. Do you think that comes into play consistently and often enough where you can say Roadhog can really fuck an Orisa up with your ult? Is that something that you try to do?
I mean, honestly, you can really confer many kills on tanks now because you
In
can
general, you can.
use your ult to push them away, and then you can hook them right back into you and then just do it again.
Oh, I see. Big brain. That's true. So you get like two waves of attacks on them, and you
Yeah.
know where they're going to be pushed because of your ult too.
Mhm.
That's actually
And
a good point.
that combo normally already confirms on squishies, but being able to use your hook and your ultimate like that, you basically can hit the tank twice. You would have
Mm.
to be careful about her fortify, obviously, but
But her fortify, you can still kill her in fortify because she doesn't get pushed back. You can just unload all your bullets on her if she's up close,
yeah,
right?
well, if you first knock her back, because that's what you do as Arissa. You take as much damage as you can to get knocked away from it, and then
Yeah.
you use fortify to
But there are a lot of
save
new
the last little
Orisa
bit.
players right now, so how often they think about that is a good is
Of course.
th-
And don't you technically get two fortifies with your ultimate?
if you have your
Like you get
ultimate, yeah, you
one
get.
ability and then you get
Mm,
the free one with your ultimate.
it's very true. I'm not sure if there's that many people that I mean, there's so many new Orisa players out there. I don't, and it's crazy because even though they're all very new to Orisa, they all usually play her very well. I think her kit's very easy to understand and kind of get good with. Like it's a very basic understanding of Orisa is almost instant. I
I
feel like.
mean, I think the concept of brawl rushdown is just a concept that's just very easy to understand. It's just
Yeah,
go,
yeah.
just go, go.
Aggressive gameplay is very easy to understand. People like the zug zug, as they say.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think the Roadhog change is great, and anybody who says this is bad is tripping, dude. But let's go on to the next tiny little buff we got here for our old pal Winston. Not a huge buff, but still pretty good. He needed it. They
Hmm.
basically made the ammo cost on his right click reduced by 8. Now, his right click is something I played around with very tiny bit. It felt good because you can combine a fully, you can, hold down a right click, keep it charged, leap at someone, then hit them with the right click, and then do your melee attack, animation cancel it with the leap, and that's a huge burst of damage for a squishy. And I was doing that consistently, and it felt really good. The problem, of course, is you don't have as much left click afterwards. So if you miss your right click during the leap, then you kind of get yourself in a worse spot than you would be if you just did the regular old Winston animation cancel, because then you'd be out of 20 ammo, and maybe they get healed or something or whatever, and then you just don't have enough ammo to kill them, which is kind of tragic because, as you know, Winston's basically got a little tickle gun, right? It doesn't do a whole lot of damage. I do think Winston is in a pretty okay spot. I think once people learn how to use the right click more and people understand the maps a bit better, like where the dive locations are, where the setup locations are, maybe they understand the concepts of comboing certain things a little bit better. Winston could be a bit better. But at the moment, he definitely feels a little bit weaker, but this is a good step in that direction. Having more ammo cost helps you finish off people if you miss that right click on the target you're diving. So this is good. This is a good change. It's not as fun or as interesting as Roadhog. I do think that they should do something similar with Winston's ult. I don't know what they could do to Winston's ult. I kind
Yeah,
of liked what they did in
absolutely.
that. What was it? The experimental patch. Do you remember how that like you could like hold down the melee button and do a
Oh yeah,
charged
the
attack?
charge.
That was
Yeah, something
interesting.
like that. Add some
Mm,
more levels to the ultimate itself,
yeah,
because
maybe it
it's
could.
just like Hog's old. It's
Yeah,
just it's so one dimensional.
maybe you
Oh,
could
it
have
just
his
you
right
shoot
click do
bullets
that.
straight out and knocks back. Oh, he just
Just
jumps around,
punch.
knocks around. Yeah.
I mean, it's not a terrible ult, but I definitely feel like adding a level of complexity to it would be better. Like, for example, you could have Winston's left click all do the normal same shit as he would when he's ulting, but then you can make it so his right click in that form does something a little bit different. Like maybe he charges up a lightning fist or something that goes a little bit of a little zappy distance, similar to how he could with his normal right click. I don't know. Let him do it during his ultimate is what I'm saying. I don't know. Winston has a little bit to go. Something that they did to Roadhog. I think this is a perfect example of what they should do to almost every tank right now. Not Erisa. Arisa's completely fine. She's
Yeah,
completely
she
fine.
should be the standard.
Yeah, this is something that needs to happen for a lot of tanks. Like Winston and Diva need something like this, I think. But Winston's okay. Not a lot of people are playing him. Next up, we have Wrecking Ball. This is a character I haven't seen a lot of people play him, but when I have seen it, they've been very effective, except for a few. But
Hmm.
Wrecking Ball seems good. Seems really good still. I don't
Yeah,
know if this was
definitely,
necessary.
definitely.
Um,
I don't know why, especially like 36.
I
Is
don't think
it
he's
because they
weak.
want him to be more effective against tanks? Maybe.
I am not sure. I mean, that's what they said. Let's see what they said here. We wanted to give Wrecking Ball a more unique role as a dive that can split up
Yeah,
enemy teams. Yeah,
they want
yeah, they
him
did
to
say
be
that.
knocking around tanks. Now I get that, but
Oof.
I feel so bad for supports now.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Brig stun him? Nope.
Oh, you wanna play the game? Oh well, sorry.
Yeah,
Hack
it's
only
pretty
CCs
bad.
for 1 second now, so
Yeah, it's really like Wrecking
Cassidy
Ball
doesn't
seems
have
so good.
flashbang anymore. Brig
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have bash stun anymore.
You, it's it's just yeah. Wrecking Ball didn't need that.
Gonna have to get a Roadhog at that point.
Yeah, Roadhog is good CC against Wrecking Ball, and really strong damage against them. I just
Have a
don't
really
see.
good Erisa use Javelin.
I don't
I
know
mean,
who thinks Wrecking Ball is
uh,
weak because I never felt that he
his
was weak.
survivability is insane still. Like
Very
it's
much,
even better than Overwatch 1.
very much, very much. I agree completely. I don't see this character needing this buff. I mean, it's not. I don't know. It's not the worst thing in the world. At least he's
Yeah,
not
it's
tankier, I guess. But like, he was doing fine. He was doing completely fine. I felt like he was one of the better tanks actually.
I mean, I suppose he's technically got a little bit of a nerf because no more 2 CP stall,
That's true. He
but
was good at stalling.
I don't know if the knockback was necessary.
Yeah, as soon as people discover how to play all the cool little spots on the new map, I think he's only going to get better too. Like a lot of people know how to do like rollouts on certain maps. Wrecking Ball is one of those rollout heroes. And as soon as people understand the maps and understand the rollouts, Wrecking Ball is just going to be so hard to kill. And this is going to make it worse too. I think that Wrecking Ball didn't really need any changes. He was one of those tanks that actually I thought was performing exceptionally well still.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Same.
but hey, it's a buff for Wrecking Ball mains out there. You go have fun with it. I don't think you needed it. You were doing just fine without it. Now you're 36% more annoying. Moving on to the next hero, Zarya, who also felt strangely good, especially on push maps.
Yeah,
I think she's
definitely. I
great
noticed
on
that
push.
too. I think it's the double bubble. I
Yeah.
was not expecting it to have actually that much presence, but it really does have it.
It really is that much. Like, it's actually really strong. So they actually nerfed her. But keep in mind, the nerf is not that big of a deal, though.
Yeah, it's to her ultimate.
Yeah, point 0.5, half a second less duration on ultimate. Not that big of a deal, in my opinion.
And most of the
It's
time, it's
whatever.
not. That would mean something. That half second means something if you get a 6-man grab and you need everybody swinging because Ryan's got his hammer there and you got a Zarya on. They got a Zarya on top of that.
Yeah,
But
true.
most of the time, you only like solo or 2-man grab.
Yeah, but
That 0.5 seconds will
mhm,
not matter that much on a solo grabbed Anna
yeah, I
because
mean,
she's just gonna get right click just punched in like point 0.
and you really don't need to do all kinds of crazy big man grabs either. You don't need to look for that in 5v5 because just getting two it wins the fight. It like
Mm-hmm.
completely. 1, 2 picks, they're very powerful. That's the same reason we were talking about Soldier Visor. You don't need to get 5Ks or what the equivalent of a 6K would be a 5K. But you don't really need to do team wipes. That's not something that wins you the fight. So you can just get 1 or 2 picks and that's it. That's all you need to really win the fight now. That's what it feels like for me. I mean, ranked might change that, but it feels like you win from just 1 or 2 picks. That's why Widowmaker to me feels exceptionally overpowered at the moment. Any picks that you give the Widowmaker are very
Mm-hmm.
strong, unless you have, of course, Mercy, which kind of counteracts that a little bit. But yeah, Zarya, I don't think her ultimate was the issue. I honestly just think her double bubble is exceptionally strong. I don't ever really find myself needing,
I
like, the downtime of no bubbles is just not there, it
It's
feels like.
tough. Honestly, I felt like she was perfectly fine. I
Yeah.
don't I mean, I guess this isn't that big of a deal, so it's not
Yeah.
really that worrisome.
It's meh.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, okay.
Yeah, it's
Fine.
definitely it's
I
interesting.
guess it's a little less CC, so sure.
I will
Yeah,
say this
I
next
guess.
hero, this next hero needed a nerf. This is
Oh
one that we
yeah.
needed to talk about here, and that is Lucio. This is interesting. They made it so his self healing is 30% worse now on his own uh fade, his like healing track, right? You have 30% less healing now on that track. And I don't think that is gonna, I mean, it's a big nerf, but it doesn't seem like it changed much. I'll be
No, that's
honest.
only on crossfade now, isn't it?
Yeah, so basically it's just saying his crossfade stacked with his new passive is too much, so they didn't nerf
Yeah.
the passive, they just nerfed this crossfade to himself. And I'll be honest, I don't notice it. I haven't noticed a difference. It seems completely the same. It's still a nerf, but even though it's 30%, I don't know, it feels like it should be more. I don't know. Maybe make it so his support role passive doesn't kick in so fast. He's still really hard to kill. I don't know if he's the best support in the game. I think Moira is
I
still
I
probably better,
think
but
they should probably do the same route that they did with Soldier and Sombra's movement speed, and they tuned that down, and they need to take that route with Lucio and potentially Mercy.
hmm. Yeah, I don't know. This he needed a nerf. 100% he needed a nerf. I don't know if this is the direction that they should go because it doesn't really make it so he's unkillable. Like, I mean, I don't know. There's so many factors with Lucio: the hitbox, the speed, the movement, the player skill, the player ceiling, the walls, the map. I mean, you got so many different things going on with the roll passive heal, the crossfade heal. There's so many different things. It's hard to pin down what element. It's just a combination of many different things. That's what making Lucio so hard to kill right now. But the roll passive made it exceptionally hard, and that didn't get changed. It's just this crossfade. The heal that gets in, it kicks really soon. It feels like when you take damage, if you're on speed, you can just stay on speed, and if they consistently just miss their shots, your heal's still going. You don't have to still like crossfade healing. I don't think was the issue here. I don't think it was the issue. So I don't know. It's great to see him nerfed though. I am happy about it. Is he not S
Mm-hmm.
tier anymore? Nah, he's still fucking good. He
Yeah,
is
he's
way too
still
good
really
still.
good.
He's still one of the best off healers, if not the main healer, right? Like you can consider Lucio a main healer. Um,
Especially considering these next few changes
oh
were
yeah. Next one,
underwhelming.
Baptiste. Okay, thanks, I guess. I got 3 more ammo for my heal right click. I don't think Baptiste is going to be good still. Baptiste is going to be worse, if anything, with
Yeah, game's too
this.
fast paced.
The
Yeah.
game is way too fast. Lamp doesn't matter that much to me. Um, this is not a very big deal. This is nice. Quality of life. It's nothing exciting. Thanks, I guess, right? Baptiste is still very underwhelming to me. Anna, this one's nice. This one matters a little bit more, right? Like, this is, well, good and bad, right? So, first off, you have a buff. The ammo increase on Anna is a much bigger deal to me than an ammo increase on Baptiste, because I feel like the reload time on Anna is like, that just means someone's dead at the worst time, right? So this is way better, and plus this allows you to DPS a little bit more, which, as we all know, Anna's love the DPS right now because the gun just sounds and it feels really good to DPS. I don't blame them. But yeah, here's the thing. So they're nerfing the grenade here. It was too effective, right? So now they're reducing the duration that biotic grenades anti and heal buff are on people. That's a crazy nerf. That's a big nerf. 1 whole second
It's an
without anti.
indirect buff to Roadhog.
It's an indirect buff to a lot of characters, especially tanks. This kind of, I mean, you still always want to go for anti-nades when you can, but this definitely makes it worse. So that is something to keep in mind. If you have an anti-nade on you, not all hope is lost, right?
Wait, is that including the heal buff?
Yes. Includes the heal
Ooh.
and the anti. So
Oh, then
it's
she
pretty bad.
definitely needed the ammo increase for that too.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely more of a nerf than a buff in my opinion, right? I would rather have, if I had to choose between one of those two things, I'd take the grenade duration over more ammo. Like every day of the week, right? Like I would prefer that. 1 more second of someone not getting healed when there's, like, especially a tank. If you land an anti on a tank right now, it's devastating. It always has been, but only when solo tank, it's even worse.
Yeah,
And
because
that could,
there's not another tank to pick
yeah.
up the slack.
And I think that's one of the reasons why Zarya feels so good right now, is because with double bubble, she's never getting
Yeah, she's
anti,
able to pick
never.
up her own slack.
Yeah, which is fantastic with how many Annas there are. But yeah, this is kind of more of a nerf than a buff in my opinion. But I do like the ammo. That is a good buff. It's not like, oh, 3 more ult fired Baptiste. Whatever. This is definitely better on Anna than it is on Baptiste. Um, Next up is the reason why I've been really having a lot of fun here. The character I have been playing the most since this patch has come out, and that is Zenyatta's Snap Kick. The Sanji main is also a Zenyatta main. Here we are. Zenyatta, base health increased by 25. Already excellent, super amazing, because Zenyatta honestly is so bad right now. Probably one of the worst supports in the game. I know people complain about Discord Orb. Doesn't matter. He's just so weak in comparison to everybody else, especially Moira. Moira is still better than this, by the way. But this is such a fun little ability. You get to kick someone, which has always been your quick melee, and it does 50% more damage, but that's not even the big deal. The big deal is that it has a crazy knockback. It's not just a knockback. It's like Lucio boop. It's an insane knockback. It does a ton. If you see this thing in action, pick Zenyatta. It's so fun to melee people now. I've been unintentionally feeding because I have been trying to kick as many people as possible.
I can attest to that.
But it's just fun. It's just a fun change. It's not overpowered. It's not broken. Zenyatta is still not that great, but this is a fun change to make people want to play the character. This is what you got to do to the game. This stuff like this is great. And it feels right because his kick animation is hilarious. I love it. The HP is honestly the best buff. That's like one of the best buffs you can give to a character is just give him more fucking health, right? Like look what they did with Cassidy. They gave him more health and that was insane. But like this is the most funny thing, the more exciting thing, but yet the health is just honestly the biggest thing. That's like the biggest change. Honest to God, it's the best. Um, you know, you get dove on, you can fight back way easier. And Zenyatta always gets dove on. And in 5v5, you're not getting help, you're not getting peeled. Your Lucio's the DPS main. He's on speed. He's going crazy DPSing. He's not going to peel you. Brig doesn't have a stun. She's not going to do that. You only have one tank. Good luck. Zenyatta, not in a good spot in 5v5. Funny little purple orb. Who gives a shit? You just die or get killed so easily, it doesn't matter. These are changes that make it so you can actually fight back. I love it. This is perfect. Zenyatta is still probably C tier, maybe, but he's better. He's not in D tier anymore. Definitely C tier. And then for the very last change, we have Brig, which makes her knockback doubled with her shield bash. It seems like a big thing, but we've played it a little bit.
I
I
really
don't notice
haven't
it.
noticed it.
I
Yeah.
don't notice it. I don't know. I guess
Honestly, same thing with the Zen kick. From my
yeah.
perspective, I
Yeah.
think I only really noticed it once, and it's not like it did anything too substantial. It's
Yeah.
just like a get off me card.
Yeah, because when
No Zen's
I
gonna be like, all right, let me actually hard int
yeah,
Artori and go on the flank
yes.
Artori to try
If
to
you're
kick
flank
people off the
Yada,
map Artori.
hey man, we're in quick play. Don't matter. Who cares? Who gives a shit? We're in quick play. It's not like we're playing ranked, man.
Well, this
Might as well.
Artorigold kid is flanking on Zenyatta, trying to
Hey,
kick people off the map, but I can't even
hey,
inspect his profile.
everybody else is throwing. It's quick play. Let me have some fun too. But yeah, it's not a good change that you see very often. I mean, how often are you going to get a boop kill with a melee attack from Zenyatta? Probably never. Maybe very specifically on Ilios Well. Maybe. But how many characters get out of Well already? You have your wall climbers, you have your flyers, you have Echo, Pharah, Genji, Diva, Hanzo, and then all the
Widow,
tanks don't take any CC, so that you're not going to knock them back as much either. Widowmaker, Grapple, there's tons of characters that just get out of
Sombra,
it. Doomfist
Tracer
can leap out of it,
recalls.
Tracer Recall, yeah, yeah. There's a very high amount of chance you're not gonna knock someone off this fucking ability, which is why it's silly and funny, but it's basically only going to be used on Genjis who dive you. Because let's be real, Genji, he's able to do whatever the fuck he wants right now. Nobody's stopping Genji right now. Like Genji, just without stuns in the game, Genji is running rampant. Um, so yeah, the kick is pretty good against him, I guess, but that's about it. All around though, for this patch, I mean, it might seem like like not much, but to me, this was like a 9 out of 10 patch because I was not
Honestly,
expecting it to be
the
this
most
big.
important part is how fast we got this. I
Yes, the
was
speed.
completely expecting traditional Activision Blizzard. We're gonna get the next balance patch, like actual balance patch, in the next beta.
I can't.
But
This makes
no,
me
they just gave it.
so excited for everything. This makes me so excited for everything. Like the future of Overwatch 2 feels good if the patch notes are like this and they're this often, right? So I don't know if things are going to change. Maybe what they do is make one patch each beta wave after seeing all kinds of feedback. I'm not sure. This could be the only patch we see all beta, but if it is, I'm pretty happy with it. All the changes here, I think I agree with. I can't think of anything that I heavily disagree with. It all feels right. I would have liked to do more, but let's be honest, there's another 2 beta waves coming out, right? And who knows what they're going to do in those 2 beta waves, right? So they might
It's
need
true.
more adjustments. All around, I'm very happy with this patch. I'm very happy with how fast it came out. I'm very happy with the quality of changes in here. They weren't just too boring. They had some excitement in it, and that's what a patch should have. It should have a little bit of excitement to it. They need more things like snap kick, right? And more things like Roadhog, things that feel fun and refreshing to a character that isn't really having the best time. And I loved it. I loved it. It was a great patch. I just hope that the future is going to continue like this with the patch notes because I got to tell you, I don't have Overwatch 3 in me. I can't wait 900 days for with no
Yeah,
content. I
no,
can't do that. We're not
no.
doing that again. We're not doing that again. So you guys better keep updating the PvP and you better keep doing it like this because this is how it should be, right? So yeah, I don't know. This is great. I think that's about all I got for this. Do you have any closing remarks?
Um, no, I mean, like, I'm pretty happy with what we got.
Mm.
Like I said, I wasn't expecting anything other than just like bug fixes. So like this
Yeah,
was
it,
definitely a happy surprise.
very happy
Very
surprise.
welcome.
It
Very
made
welcome
me
surprise.
it made me very happy to play Overwatch 2 today so I could go around and try to kick people as Zenyatta. Thank you for that. And sorry to all those
I
people.
thought I was just gonna read One Piece and then just watch YouTube.
But now you get to do that and play Overwatch 2.
That's true.
Well, it looks like it'll be a fun weekend at least. All right. Well, that's it guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.